Hello, my name is Hongyue Liao. In this presentation, I'm going to share with you my work for Hurdle Task 1. The scenario I have been assigned is scenario number 8. It is about Michael, the youngest in the series of very bright, high-achieving siblings. Probably because of that, he's highly success-oriented, obsessed with his work, and seems unable to relax. For the teacher, the annoyance is that he appears at the staff room once or twice a week, demanding advice, and will also argue over the smallest details of assessments. More seriously, sometimes he is very competitive and can be aggressive towards classmates when he sees them as a threat to his academic supremacy. So as I see it, the key points of this scenario are demanding advice and argue over the smallest details of assessments, competitive and aggressive towards classmates. The two relevant theoretical approaches I want to talk about are behavioral approach and the democratic discipline approach. First, let's look at the behavioral approach. Actually, this approach has its roots in the work of Pavlov, Watson, Thorndike, and Skinner. It is largely concerned with the scientific modification of observable behavior. So according to this approach, all behaviors are learned and maintained by reinforcement. And behavior is conditioned by its consequences. Consequences actually are events or changes in the environment following a behavior, and it can be in the form of reinforcement, both positive and negative, and punishment, both positive and negative. So basically, the approach maintains that behaviors can be taught, changed, or modified by means of punishment, reinforcement, or praise. So in this case here, the behaviorists would suggest that the teacher should apply reinforcement or punishment to deal with Michael's misbehaviors. Second, let's look at the democratic discipline approach. So this approach actually can be largely attributed to Rudolf Dreikurs, who once worked as an associate for famous psychologist Alfred Adler. According to Dreikurs, who founded his theories on Adler's individual psychology, all behavior is orderly, purposeful, and directed towards achieving social recognition. So all behavior, appropriate or inappropriate, is driven by a certain motive. Actually, Dreikurs identifies 4 types of goals motivating students' misbehavior, and they are to attract attention, to exercise power, to exact revenge, and to display inadequacy. So in this case here, Michael, as the youngest of high-achieving and bright siblings, his goal is to attract attention by being high-achieving, by sometimes outdoing his siblings, and by maintaining his academic superiority. Therefore, it is not hard to understand why he argues over the details of assessments and displays aggression when feeling challenged. So to deal with Michael's misbehavior, the democratic discipline approach would suggest that the use of logical consequences. Now, let's look at my plan of action. I would adopt the democratic discipline approach to handle Michael's misbehaviors. The first step is to ascertain Michael's motives. To me, his goal is to attract attention by working hard and upholding his academic supremacy. And this falls into the active, constructive attention seeker category. Second, respond to Michael's mistaken goals. It is highly possible that Michael thinks as long as he is as bright and high achieving as his siblings, he can attract attention from his parents, teachers, and peer students and others. So of course, to ascertain this, a casual talk could be arranged to get him to reveal his goal. And the third step actually is to change Michael's mistaken goals. It can be achieved by politely, but firmly turn down his request to meet, or do not argue with him at all at meeting time, because these two are his ways of attracting attention from the teacher. Alternatively, the teacher can give him attention and recognition when he behaves positively on other occasions, such as when he eventually stops working for relaxation, or interacting with other classmates, or contributing to group or class. So if necessary, the teacher, of course, can invoke logical consequences. That is, if Michael continues to argue over the details of assessments, the teacher can indicate no further meetings or consultations. If he becomes competitive or aggressive, he may have to leave the room until he indicates he won't do it again. The worst scenario could be if he continues to display aggression and being reported, the teacher can give him a choice whether to report this to his parents or stop being aggressive. Even though it might sound like a threat, but it works. And it will work on Michael, I think, because he is eager to get the attention and recognition from his parents and won't risk letting them down and being viewed as not as bright or high achieving or not as good as his siblings. Okay, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.